For weeks, this young kingfisher has known only the darkness of an underground nest. Now, a river lies beyond the entrance. Its first flight is close, but before it can leave, we must return to the beginning of its story. Several weeks earlier, this stretch of riverbank was still untouched. The common kingfisher, Alcedo atthis, is a small fishing bird found across much of Europe and Asia, as well as parts of North Africa. It needs more than water. It needs visible prey, low hunting perches, and a bank firm enough to hold an underground nest. The male and female look remarkably similar. Both carry brilliant blue upperparts and warm orange underparts, but the female can often be recognized by the orange-red base of her lower bill. During courtship, the male catches a fish and presents it head first. The offering helps form the partnership that will soon be tested by the demands of raising a brood. Before laying eggs, the pair must find the right section of riverbank. A position too low could be reached by rising water. Soil that is too loose may collapse, while ground that is too hard would be difficult to excavate. They settle on a dry, nearly vertical face above the river. Kingfishers do not construct a nest from grass or twigs. Instead, both adults use their bills to loosen the soil and their feet to push it behind them. The tunnel grows only a little at a time. Because the passage is too narrow for the birds to turn around, they must reverse toward the entrance, carrying loose earth backward. At the far end, they open a wider chamber directly inside the bank. Over several days, the female completes her clutch. The smooth white eggs need no camouflage inside the dark chamber. Incubation lasts for roughly 3 weeks. Both parents take turns during the day, allowing one bird to feed while the other keeps the developing embryos warm. Outside, the river continues to flow. Inside the bank, life is changing invisibly. Eventually, faint movement begins within the shells. Hatching is slow work. Each chick must break the shell from inside, rest, and push again. Wet, almost naked and unable to see, the first hatchling emerges completely dependent on its parents. Over the following hours, the rest of the brood begins to hatch. The chicks cannot yet control their own body temperature, so the adults must brood them between feeding visits. Their first meals are tiny fish, small enough to be swallowed whole. For the parents, the quiet period of incubation is over. Every meal must now be found beneath the water, caught individually and carried through the tunnel. A single hunting trip may last only minutes, but the same journey must be repeated throughout the day. From a branch above the river, the kingfisher watches for movement below. Water bends light, making a fish appear slightly displaced from its true position. the bird must compensate before it dives. Even an experienced adult can miss, especially when ripples, reflections, or changing light conceal the target. When a fish is caught, it is returned to a perch and adjusted in the bill. For a young chick, the fish must be delivered head first. This allows the fins to fold naturally as the prey passes through the throat. Then the adult returns to the river to begin the process again. As the chicks grow, their appetite increases. Rain can make the task more difficult by disturbing the surface and carrying sediment into the water. But hunger inside the nest does not wait for the river to clear. A failed dive is followed by another attempt, and every successful catch is carried back along the same route to the bank. Inside the chamber, the chicks begin to change. Their eyes open. Dark feather sheaths appear across the wings and back. Gradually, those sheaths unfold into juvenile plumage. The chamber that once held a cluster of tiny hatchlings is becoming crowded. The brighter end of the tunnel now attracts their attention. One by one, they move closer to the entrance, where they can feel moving air and hear the river more clearly. They still rely on their parents for food, but the world outside the nest is beginning to shape their behavior. At the entrance, a young kingfisher sees open water for the first time. Its body is feathered, but its balance and coordination are still developing. It opens its wings, grips the loose soil, and watches the adults crossing the river. The next movement will take it beyond the safety of the nest. The first flight is short and uneven. The fledgling loses height, beats its wings rapidly, and reaches a nearby branch. The others begin leaving the bank one by one. For the first time, the young birds are separated from the walls that protected them since hatching. But leaving the nest does not mean immediate independence. For a short time, the parents continue delivering fish outside the burrow. The fledglings also watch the adults hunt, following every movement from perch to water. Their own first dives are uncertain, and many return without a fish. Learning to hunt will take time. On a branch above the river, one young kingfisher waits, watches, and prepares to try again.